The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Okay, I'm having a major problem at my apartment here in Boston. And what's insane is I had this problem when I was 14 and lived at my mom's house. Pat's already laughing. I don't know why this is so funny already to you.
You had a problem when you were 14 and living with your mom's.
And I'm having the same problem now. Here's the thing. I don't even know how to explain what's going on. Basically, my house makes noises. My apartment makes noises, and they come from the wall, and it's sort of like a cracking noise. And I know exactly what's going on. No, it's not a monster. The issue is that in the winter months, when you have the heat on, it will sometimes cause joints, beams, whatever, in the walls to sort of shift, expand, and contract slightly. And it causes these really loud cracking noises. And I was finding that it was preventing me from sleeping through the night. So, for example, I have one of those energy efficient like timer thermostats. And the way I have it set is like around 10 p.m. or something like that. It'll go from 70 degrees down to 62 because I don't really need the heat on during the night. Now, it won't actually ever get down to 62, right? So like during the night, it's only enough time for the temperature to drop to like 65 or something like that.
I guess because you're in bed and you're already covered up, you don't need it to be too warm.
I am much more comfortable sleeping in cooler temperatures. It'll get down to 65, 66. Great, with peace and love. I sleep. It's all fantastic, right? But the problem is I had it set up to kick back on, to get us back up to 70, 69, 70 degrees at 7 a.m. So that when my alarm goes off at 7:40, it's warmer and it's all great, right? And it works fantastically. The issue was the heat would go on at 7, and immediately the entire house is making noise. It's shimmying and it's shaking and it's cracking and popping and making all these noises, and it's really very loud. So I thought, okay, here's what I need to do. The temperature is 65 when it kicks back on at 7 a.m. And going up 4 to 5 degrees, it's a big change in temperature. So what if instead I configure it to turn on earlier and more slowly raise the temperature?
Yeah, from what I've heard, you're only supposed to adjust it 2 or 3 degrees at a time, so that way you're not putting too much stress on the system itself.
Well, the system I'm not worried about, but it's more the house seems to be under stress. But fair point taken. So instead what I've taken to doing is setting it so that at 4:30 in the morning, it'll go to 66 degrees. And at 5:30 in the morning, it'll go to 67 degrees.
That's
and
really
at
advanced.
6:30, yeah. So I thought this will be better because we're not going to have these big changes. As it happened, the last 3 nights, I got up and woke up and looked around and noticed that at one point it was 4:37 in the morning. This morning it was 5:40 in the morning, right? So within 10 minutes of a temperature escalation, and the walls are cracking and popping and I'm up again. So I genuinely don't know how to deal with this. When I look online, tons of people talk about how, yeah, old houses, new houses, apartments, whatever, when you have winter and you have heat going in between your walls through ductwork, it will cause these shifts in the wooden beams, you know, presumably like the beams we have here to some degree, and it's going to make that noise. I'm at a loss here. I don't know what to do. The other option would be just don't have the heat turn on at all, right? Just get up and it'll be 65 degrees. Another option, I guess, would be instead of letting it just drop during the night, set it to 67 and keep it at 67. And maybe I'll just get up and not warm it up anymore and deal with that. I don't know.
Right. There's no easy solution there. I mean, you could kind of find the happy medium temperature where you're just comfortable all the time, whether you have blankets on or not. Or I guess it's a lot easier to bundle up during cooler temperatures than it is to cool down, I guess.
When it's hot. Yeah.
When it's hot. Yeah. So I don't know if there's an easy solution there, David.
Yeah. I think maybe I need to try, instead of going from 70 to 65 during the night, maybe I just drop it to 68 or something like that and keep it there, and then I don't need to have it kick on in the morning to raise the temperature or something like that. It's just I find 68 too hot for sleeping, just fundamentally.
Right, and I feel like these cracking noises are not a pleasant thing to wake up to.
No, it's sort of like, I think I can actually mirror it. Let's see if this will pick. The noise is kind of like this.
Oh, wow. Periodically like that?
From the wall, yeah. And it's sometimes every 45 seconds. It's frequent enough that I'm like anticipating the next one and can't fall back asleep.
Are you a light sleeper?
Not particularly. No,
yeah,
I mean, it's
I'll
loud.
sleep through anything.
It's quite
I've
loud.
slept through fire alarms. I mean, it's that bad.
Well, that wouldn't happen to me, but yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's drama. Speaking of drama, major internal drama among progressive media. There's a whole bunch of specific disagreements going on right now, and you may not be following this, so I'll tell you about some of them. So, like, for example, Kyle Kulinski, host of Secular Talk, was engaged in a big Twitter battle with Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report, and they were going at it. Dave Rubin and Cenk Uygur were embroiled in some kind of controversy that was posted to our Reddit this morning, davidpakman.com.
Times, I think.
A couple times it's been posted, but certainly there was one post this morning about it. As we know, Nicole Sandler and Abby Martin were slamming me last week or the week before, last week, because I interviewed Richard Spencer, even though RT and Al Jazeera and all sorts of other news outlets had also, BBC had interviewed Richard Spencer. So there's a whole bunch of these internal disagreements. And we had a caller last week talk about whether we think that the left is fractured in some way. I don't know that these internal disagreements reflect a fracturing of the left, other than to some degree when it comes to issues of like free speech and no platforming and that type of thing. But I think that overall, this isn't particularly good for the progressive movement. And by that, I mean, on the one hand, we need the progressive movement figuring out whether a more corporatist center-left Democratic approach or a more Bernie Sanders approach is better for the Democratic Party going forward if we believe the future of progressivism is in the Democratic Party. Not everybody does. That's a really worthwhile and necessary debate. But the sort of angry infighting through social media and whatnot that we've been seeing, that I've been targeted by, and that, as I mentioned, Cenk and Dave and Kyle Kulinski and others have been involved in, I don't know in what way that's useful to the movement.
I mean, maybe people are just still kind of hungover from Trump's victory, but I honestly think that had Hillary Clinton won and the Democrats won control back of the Senate, had like a big successful election this go around, it might have been worse, because once your party is in charge, there tends to be a lot of infighting there, and you don't know whether to kind of play the party line or to put forward primary challengers. So I think that divide would have happened regardless.
That's why before the election, I kept saying, no matter what the results are of this election, progressive independent media is going to be needed. And what I meant was, if Hillary Clinton had won, we still would have had a Republican House and Senate. We would have had a very centrist Democrat in the White House.
That's generous, too.
And maybe I'm being generous. And it would have been an opportunity to, number one, to push the Democratic president to be as left as possible, which would have been a challenge, but also to prevent Republican obstructionism to the things that Hillary Clinton would have done that we would have agreed with. And I don't know that people were taking that so seriously. Like, the election of Donald Trump has made a lot of progressives take much more seriously the need for independent media and for cohesive left activism. But I don't know whether it would have been taken as seriously had Hillary Clinton won. And I worry that there might have been what you're suggesting might have happened, which is big infighting among the left if you get a corporate sort of friendly center-left Democrat like Hillary Clinton elected. But it also might have pacified people, placated them, and made them not be too active. So the escalation of involvement, I think, is great. I guess my question is, how do these internal sort of spats between left-wing hosts help the movement? And I'm not sure that they do.
I mean, I think it also comes down to the fact that Kyle Kulinski and Dave Rubin are just ideologically quite different.
Yes,
you can even throw in the Young Turks there as well. Dave Rubin describes himself as a classical liberal. I guess that kind of means libertarian nowadays. The meaning of that's changed over time, and I don't know the best way to describe Kyle. Maybe just a true First Amendment type progressive. But when you have a difference of opinion, I mean, there's going to be disagreements, and sometimes those are aired on Twitter. Unfortunately, sometimes they devolve into ad hominem attacks, and you're just going after people's, the things about them personally, and that's not good.
And obviously that's a disaster. And I think that I'm not advocating some sort of like fabricated or artificial total agreement between all sides of the left, because that also is just not realistic, and there have to be the debates that happen. I just am advocating for more discussions about what the progressive goals and ideals should be rather than sort of attacks. And I think that that's basically what you're getting at. One interesting note, after the Quebec mosque shooting, I sort of alluded to this yesterday in our coverage. Initially, there were 2 individuals detained by police. The actual alleged shooter, Alexander Bissonnette, and a Moroccan guy. And there were some early reports that maybe they were both suspects. Eventually, though, police said the Moroccan guy was a witness. He was not a suspect. we have only one suspect who we believe to be the perpetrator, and it's this anti-feminist, pro-Trump white dude named Alexander Bissonnette. Fox News tweeted that it was this Muslim Moroccan and whatever, right? You can sort of imagine what Fox News tweeted. And that was an inaccurate tweet. And Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, demanded that Fox News delete that tweet because even just leaving it up is problematic. And Fox News has actually done it. And I think that that's great. I don't now think Fox News has come over to the side of actual fair and balanced or whatever it is they tout. But this was the right move, and I'm glad that Fox News did it.
They did make the right move. It's kind of tough when you take down a tweet because it kind of shows that you're expressing some regret. And I don't think they were trying to, how should I say this? I don't think they were trying to hide the fact of who this perpetrator was and try to play it off as if it wasn't some white guy, it was some Moroccan instead. But, I mean, even those tweets will still be in people's news feeds for hours and days later. And a lot of Fox News viewers may not second guess it, may not see the updated tweets. So I think in that respect, you probably should take it down.
Yeah, I mean, the removal of a tweet is sort of a quiet action, right? It's sort of like everybody sees the headline. Very few people see the correction at the back of the newspaper because it's a much quieter thing to do. You send out a tweet, thousands, tens of thousands of your followers retweet it and integrate it into their minds as a reality. It was a Moroccan dude who carried out, the Moroccan Muslim guy. You don't then go back to confirm whether tweets have been deleted, right? You just move on with your day. It's days later and you've just moved on. And it's very quiet in that sense.
Yeah, it's Fox News. I don't even know how many followers they have, but I'd imagine it's hundreds of thousands or millions.
I assume.
It's up there.
I don't even know.
I mean, they have a big following. Even if you take down a tweet, it's still going to be screen capped by someone. It's still going to be out there. So maybe that's how they rationalize not taking it down.
Sure.
But when called out upon it, it's a good thing that they made the right move here.
It's amazing. There's a similarity between what's going on in Canada and here, which is that Twitter is just becoming a bigger and bigger part of sort of politics, right? Trump now communicates very frequently. The president communicates insanely frequently through Twitter. Twitter makes news regularly. We quote lawmakers through their tweets all the time on the show. Justin Trudeau, you could say, who cares what's on a social media network? What we're concerned with is insert anything else. But the prime minister specifically demanded the deletion of a tweet later found to be inaccurate. Twitter's got a front row seat here to Western Hemisphere politics.
Well, I don't think you're going to go out and have a press conference over something that seems kind of trivial like this. I mean, this is kind of like a side point. So I think it's kind of the right move for Justin Trudeau to put it out on Twitter or on some other social media platform rather than calling too much attention to it.
I agree with you. But the role of Twitter has been significant over the last election cycle. Okay, that does it for today's bonus show. Thanks to all of our paid subscribers who, of course, get the bonus show and all the other great member benefits. If you ever don't know how to access one or another of the different member benefits, feel free to email in through the contact form at davidpakman.com. I want to make sure everybody knows how to access all of the stuff we have available for members. So always feel free to get in touch.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.